Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. Today I thought that I would do the end of year book tag. So it's been a while since I did a book tag and I thought I just wanted to sit down and talk a little bit with you and share what I'm currently reading, which sort of fits into one of the questions for this tag. At the time that I'm filming this, it is Saturday the 19th of December, so we're very close into the end of the year, about 1.5 weeks. So this is the end of the year book tag. I will link the original creator and link to their video below in the description. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I have a pile of books that I am currently reading that I would really like to finish before the end of the year, so I thought that I would just talk my way through those. So first we have a book that I don't actually have the dust jacket on at the moment, that is Owlsons by Laura Cumming. But I'm listening to this as an audiobook narrated by the author herself. It's about her mother's disappearance as a very young child, and she was away, she had disappeared for a few days and she returned, but no one really told her what happened. She doesn't remember, and it's sort of a mystery related to her disappearance and sort of a cover-up from all of the family and relatives who knew what had happened. And so Laura Cumming is looking into her mother's life and trying to figure this mystery out, as well as sort of talking about her childhood in general and sort of the historical context of the early to mid 20th century alongside that, and talking about Chapel Sands as a location as well. So I am actually thinking of reading this one as my Curious Adventure read something related to childhood prompt, so I will probably talk about that in my Curious Adventure wrap-up that will probably come next week. So there's that one. Then we have my only fiction book at the moment that is probably the least of my priorities, because this sort of fits into something I'm going to be working on more next year. So that is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk, and this is translated by Antoina Lloyd-Jones. I'm really enjoying it. It's got a fantastic winter theme to it as well, so it's perfect for the time of the year, and it's about a elderly woman who's the main protagonist, and she discovers a dead body. One of her neighbors has died, and she and one of her other neighbors sort of paid their respects by taking care cleaning up his body before the police arrive. And I'm not really sure where the story is gonna go, if there's this mystery about the death or if that is gonna lead into the rest of the novel. But I'm really enjoying the protagonist herself. I find that I immediately connected with her. So as I said, it's the only fiction book I'm currently reading, and it's probably my lowest priority because it's translated literature, which is something I'm planning to really prioritize next year alongside Invisible Cities. Then we have Owlsons by Miriam Darlington. This is a natural history about owls in the UK, and she also talks a little bit about her personal challenges in her own life alongside this project of learning about the owls. Her son has some health issues that she's dealing with, and I really like how she connects her personal struggles, sort of how that fits into her process of learning about the owls, so that she isn't just learning and digging into owl information in a vacuum. Things are happening in her own life, and I like how she weaves that in, so you get a clearer sense of an individual and a voice of the author in the book. And the owl bits themselves are really fascinating. And the next one is The Queens of Animation, the untold story of the women who transformed the world of Disney and made cinematic history by Nathalia Holt. It's one of those books that I was hoping I would get to before the end of the year, so I'm making that happen and about halfway through. It's about the women in the Disney company and some of the challenges that they face in the company, and some of the resistance from male colleagues in giving them credit or giving them the same amount of opportunities and work, but it's also about the work that they actually did and giving them credit through this book. I love the way Holt combines the complicated nature of the Disney company and its legacy, and both the good sides of the company and the company as a workplace, but also the many discrimination and other issues built into the system of the company as well. And the last one that I am currently reading and hoping to finish before the end of the year, actually I will probably finish this one tomorrow, is The Adventures of Maud West, Lady Detective by Susannah Stapleton. And this is sort of a combination of a investigative story where Stapleton tries to figure out who this lady was through looking at documentation, through family registers, through various historical documents and articles and magazines and whatnot, and tries to build this portrait of Maud West, who was a true lady detective working in the beginning of the 20th century. You sort of see both the result of her investigation and the investigation itself. And it's a lot of fun. If you're a Golden Age crime fan like I am, you probably will enjoy this one. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I think the Olga Tokarczuk book is perfect for transitioning into the winter season because it's very wintry. I have another book that I am planning to read around Christmas Eve, and that is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have been reading something by Tolkien for the last 2 or 3 Christmases in a row, and it's become somewhat of a tradition. And so this year I'm planning to start with The Fellowship, probably. I don't think I will get to The Hobbit. And so I think for me that is definitely a transition thing. I'm associating Tolkien with Christmas Eve and all of the days following that. So that is something I will be reading to get into the spirit of Christmas next week. The next question is there a new release that you're still waiting for? I don't think there's anything that is going to be published from the 19th of December, which is when I'm filming this, and the last day of the year. I don't think there's a lot of publishing happening in this late in the game anyway. There's a lot of books that I'm looking forward to for 2021, and I have actually already prepared a video for upcoming releases, one of them being in the early parts of January. So that is something I'm looking forward to, but I will talk more about that in the video that is coming up the week after next, I think. The next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? 3 books that I would really like to get to in the last week of December, probably I will just get to one of them, is the Nevermore series, or the... I can't remember if that is actually the series name now, but it's Nevermore, Wondersmith, and Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. I've been dying to get to the audio of Hollowpox since it came out. I think it was in October, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet because of Nonfiction November being taking up all of my reading time. My plan is to hopefully reread Nevermore and Wondersmith before getting to Hollowpox. This is a middle grade series by an Australian author, I want to say, and it's basically about a young girl who is sort of doomed. She's cursed and ends up falling into this magical land, and shenanigans ensues, and there's a lot of challenges and tribulations for her to get through to get recognition as a magical being. That's the gist of it. It's kind of there's nothing really original about the story itself, but there's a lot of magical elements to it that's really fun. But the thing that makes this such a cozy reading experience is the narration by Gemma Whelan. She does the voices of all of the characters so perfectly that I felt completely immersed into the story when I listened to her audiobooks. The next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? So I don't know if there's much of a shock factor left, because we only have 1.5 weeks left. Queens of Animation has a shot at being my favorite book of the year, because it's everything I love. Like, I am a really big Disney fan, and I love learning about the company and all of these sort of behind the scenes production and process of creating these movies, and the animation itself, like the technical sides of things as well, and also the human stories around this creation and the artists being involved and all of the intricacies of that. But you do get a lot of intelligent commentary through Holt's digging into into the history of this. The combination of this author being so good at what she has set out to do, as well as the topic being exactly what I love. I just feel like I'm enjoying this so much that it's hard for me to visualize that any other book, if it continues like this, it will probably be my favorite book of the year. The next question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Of course, I've already made a reading goals video. I will link it below in the description and in the cards. But the big one, of course, is the Invisible Cities project that I'm doing with Yamini, Nicole, Agnes, and Stephanie, Will, and Michael. So we are quite a few people involved in that. And that is a translated literature project. So I will be working on that all throughout next year, hopefully. And aside from that, my big goal is my TBR management, but I will link the reading goals video below, so if you want to learn more about my goals, then head on over there. So those are all of the questions for this tag. Let me know if you have any books that you would like to finish before the end of the year, either books you have already started and would like to finish off, or new books that you would like to pick up in the holiday season. That was all I had to say today. I hope you're doing well and you're taking care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.